Egyptian Imran, also known as EI, here on today's video to remind you to remember your place in the world and to also find the place in the world that you're destined to embody. Your place in this world must take rigorous amounts of contemplation, of curiosity, childlike curiosity that you have to rebirth again, especially if you've become well accustomed to adulthood and to adult life and have really forgotten the core fundamental nature of what it is like to be in your childlike state again. You, as an adult, as a teenager, or maybe you're someone younger right now watching this, it's your duty to contemplate and think about what your place in this world is. Because if you don't ever think about it, if you just let it drift off into the wind and say, whatever, man, I'm just here to live life and this is it. So what might happen to you is you might get distracted into the everyday hustle and movements of life. You might get distracted by the easiness and the comfort of, let's say, TV, video games, sex, all these things. Now, there's nothing wrong with those things. I too enjoy those things. I do. But I still have a focus onto what am I here on this planet for? What am I here doing in this life for? I mean, I try not to think about it a lot sometimes because I'm a Virgo in moon, so I can be overthinking pretty often. I can start to overthink and I can think a lot because I do think a lot. But the point is, because I think about it, because I have times for when I say to myself, okay, you know what, it's a good time right now. It's a good time right now to kind of think about, okay, well, what am I trying to do here? What's my aim in this life? What do I want to do? Do I just want to waste a lot of time? Do I want to have fun? Do I just want to be serious all the time and just work and focus and educate myself? Or is there a balance? Is there a balance? Is there a fine line, a delicate balance between the two worlds? Yin and yang, right? And I have found that the answer lies in the balance. And I've mentioned this in my previous videos, of course. It's pretty obvious. It's all about balance, right? But if confusion is pretty alive in your consciousness, if you're very confused a lot of the time because you don't know your purpose, because you don't know your place in the world, well, that might mean that you need to contemplate. You need to sit down and think. Come on, Think and Grow Rich, right? Napoleon Hill, right? I know a lot of people have read that book. And even if you haven't, even if you don't read books, like I don't really read books that much, it's still not even like uncommon sense. You gotta think. Sometimes you gotta think. Now, don't think too much. There's a balance, because you can start thinking and lead yourself down this rabbit hole to where you feel depressed, you feel anxiety, now you feel like detached from the world to the point where you don't really want to be here anymore, and you start getting into all this other stuff, which is unnecessary because you didn't have the balance within yourself. In order to discover this balance, I had to experiment. I had to find out for myself what it's like to go to the opposite end and then go to the right end and go to the extremes of both ends. And then I realized over time, through my own individual experience and my own wisdom through my life and through personal experience, damn, I need balance. I can't just I can't just always try to learn and be on my and be perfect and try to be like this character all the time. And I can't just fuck off and just do all this nonsense, all these distractions all the time and distract myself. I can't just do that. I can't. But over time, as I began to see myself, began to see my life as a video game. A video game I could play with, I could experiment with, I could do whatever I wanted with. Nothing is preventing you from getting to the life you want and you want to manifest. Nothing is. But it's the thoughts in your head, right? That's actually exactly why it's important to think in the first place. Because the thoughts in your head will dictate, well, are you actually going to amount to where you want to be at? Well, you can judge that based on the thoughts. Are you taking the time to contemplate, to think, to address the thoughts in your head as well? To see if those thoughts are actually moving you to where you might have a vision for. You might have a vision to be somewhere in life that's so, like, you might want to be rich, you want to be wealthy materially, but then you might also want spiritual knowledge, and you might actually want to know the truth about life and everything, and all these different philosophical questions like, why am I here? What's the point of life? All this shit. You might want to know all of that, right? You might want to know these different things, or you might just want to have a Taurus type lifestyle, because I know my Tauruses, my Saturns and Taurus, and you just might want to just have this sensual pleasure all the time. You just want to have lots of pleasure all the time, but be careful, because too much pleasure is pain. That's why my Saturn and Taurus be telling me that, teaching me that shit, right? So it's about thinking. It's about being alone in your silence. It's about taking the time to really pay attention and delve into your own consciousness, to delve into your own experiences of life. Because you have your experiences, but if you don't ever think about your experiences and contemplate on your experiences, what's the point? What's the point? You feel me? Because your experiences don't even exist, because you give it meaning. Whether it's a bad experience or a good experience, you give it that definition of this is a bad experience. Oh, this is a good experience. You give it the definition. It on its own isn't shit. It's just it. It just is. And we can talk about like reality being a simulation, and how like if you don't even look at reality, it doesn't even project, and all this stuff, all this different stuff. But let's not even get into that. Let's just keep it practical and keep it like straight up. Like, come on. You give everything in your life, all your experiences, everything, you give it the definition, you give it meaning. It's you. So if you don't ever sit down to address you, who give all of your experience, okay, all right, let's talk about this real quick, right? Maybe all of your sexual appetites, all the things you like in bed, right? And let's talk about like all the different kind of foods you like, okay? Different tastes, right? Different kind of foods you like, right? All these things are based off of you. And if you don't ever sit down to address you, what's gonna happen is you're gonna live a life that's frantically filled with the version of yourself that has been molded and shaped by other people and outside influences, aka society, friends, parents, influences, and all that shit. Everything external. So you don't even know who you is. So if you don't ever take the time to contemplate, to think, you don't even know where you're going. You don't even know what you like. You really don't. You think you like that thing that you like, but you really don't. Because you don't even know you. So how could you like that thing? Because you don't know who you is. Because you never took the time to actually address you, to look at you, to observe you, to be with you, to love you. Oh my God, come on. I could go on and name more. But the point I'm trying to make, there's a time to contemplate, to think, to be with yourself. And out of those times that you take out of your life to do that, and you're not really taking time out of your life because you're actually living in your true identity, in your truth. Actually, you're living in your truth. I don't even know about identity, but you're living in your truth when you take the time to be with yourself. So in reality, that might be the closest thing to actually living life. But anyways, when you do that, you're gonna have the urge to take action. You might want to start getting into a new habit. You might want to start practicing a new thing, you might want to start like doing all these things you never thought about doing before. And that's because you know yourself a little bit better. You know yourself a little bit more. You're closer to the truth of who you are, and you are unknowable. So you can spend your entire life just trying to know you, and you can do that if you want. But my opinion, the balance, fam. The balance. Be in the material, be in the spiritual, but be in the balance, you know? Be with yourself and do you, right? Learn about you, focus on you. But then also be in the world. Do what you got to do. Do things. Be about it. Have fun. Enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, that's all I got for this video. I can't keep it any longer. I made my point. Peace.